So should you wait until you find yourself to get married? Let's get into it today at 180 Truth. Thank you, family, for being here right now at 180 Truth. Should you wait until you find yourself before you get married? This young lady, Jazmin, at her channel Family Values, and salute to her husband Driscoll as well. I'm going to put the links in the description for the full video and also to their channels, but she takes some time here in this video to talk about the question, but really to encourage you specifically. She's targeting women, but I think this is applicable across, again, men, women, to be able to say, hey, don't wait until you find yourself in order to get married. Let's listen in. I'm going to give you this reaction to her video. We're going to watch most of the video, react to it, and then I want to close out with just a word in regards to identity achievement, a classic terminology in psychological development. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a minister of the gospel, but I did learn a little something in school, and I want to share as a reminder to you with regards to why it's important to just listen, make a choice with regards to who you love, where you're going to work, and your ideology. These are the cornerstones for identity achievement. But let's listen in. Let's react to this video. Let's talk about why you shouldn't wait until you find yourself before you get married.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to my channel, Family Values, where we discuss all things marriage and family. My name is Jazmin, and today I would like to do a reaction to a video I found on Instagram. It happens to be something I hear often coming from modern women. They preach it like it's gospel, like it's so profound, like it's wisdom, and honestly, it's not. It's horrible advice, so let's get into this.
Women really need their time to learn and grow with themselves. First, you got to know who you are. You got to know what you like. You got to know what kind of man you like. You're not going to learn that at 18 or 19. I mean, there's a few of us who may figure that out early, but the majority of us, it takes a long time to really figure out what we're doing in this life. And while it is important, to like find love and a husband and this, that, and the other, you need to learn yourself first. Because if you go out here and get married earlier, like you don't know yourself, how the man gonna know you if you don't know yourself? How is he gonna love you if you don't know how to love yourself?
So first, let's address what she said about women need their time to get to know themselves. No, we don't. We don't need time. I mean, we do need time. I wish we had more time, but we don't. We have a clock on our fertile years and on our dating value years.
Wow.
Men love youthful, beautiful, fertile women. If you want the best, if you want to get the best option for yourself, marry young.
So that's so important what she is saying here. And I think, again, our world says to women, you have all the time in the world. All these different options that exist because of technology, because of science, the medical world. They say, hey, no problem, we can help you. You'll be paying us thousands and thousands of dollars, but we can help you when you get older to have children. The reality of it is that is no guarantee. So we need as a society, as a religious community, as structures, as parents, we need to be able to give our children, especially our daughters, to understand, listen, you want to have this in mind, that you do have a biological clock, and so you don't have time to waste on foolishness, to just waste on really, the thing is this, experimentation might be the marker of adolescence, but it should be exploration. And you don't have to explore by experimenting. You explore by learning, reading, talking, paying attention. You explore by looking to answer those hard questions about life, why you're here, where you came from, by putting those things above the issues of pleasure. That's how you actually form a proper identity, so that when you are young, you are ready for the responsibility of marriage.
You need to learn what kind of man that you would even want. which leads to one, having more experience with men, because how are you going to learn what you want if you don't experience multiple different things, right?
Right.
So you're going to be adding trauma, you're going to be adding bodies.
Yeah.
And you're going to be, it's going to be harder for you to bond with your husband whenever you find him.
You know, that's a real challenge if you're going to stack up the bodies. And I think it's a challenge for men and women, because I know there is a lot of nonsense out there encouraging men to just stack up the bodies. But again, we are, as Christians, and any religious community will tell you, well, not any, but most will tell you, stacking up bodies will ruin your soul. There is just something about that fractures you, because you are reducing other people to a commodity, and you have reduced your own life to that basic pleasure that ultimately leaves you empty. And as a man, yeah, you get that sense of power, that sense of conquest, that sense of, some strange sense of achievement, but you have also minimized your creative energy that can be used to discover, unpack, and invest in your purpose.
Then there's the thought that you need to know yourself first. No.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for failure, because the more that you know for yourself, the harder it's going to be for you to mold into the wife that your husband needs.
That's so important. I think this is relevant, for men and women. We can become very rigid over time. Here's the thing about identity. Identity is a gift given to us from God. And so we're given an identity from God and with God, in relationship with God, and in a healthy community. That identity is discovered, unpacked, applied. Our uniqueness is our exploring our uniqueness through our gifts, our talents, our abilities, through our personality differences with other people. But we can, as she is saying, you can become so rigid. You can be stuck. You ever hear people define themselves? I remember growing up with people like this all the time. That's just the way I am. That's just the person I want to be. Or that's just the way and these were like sometimes teenagers. I'm just this way. What kind of nonsense is that you would so rigidly define yourself according to what some strange, and it's usually just selfish. That's the thing she's getting at. The more that you are supposedly discovering yourself, you're actually just becoming more and more selfish, and you're buying into a mentality that treats everybody around you and everything around you like a commodity.
When your husband brings something to you and says, I don't like this way is better for me, you are going to be stubborn, because you're going to be like, no, this is who I am. Take me as I am.
Yeah.
No man wants to hear that. A man wants a woman who is going to be teachable, who is going to be on his team, who is going to take his last name. You are a reflection of him.
And let me just pause and say this to my sisters. If this is not something that you can vision doing, if this is not something that makes sense to you, then this is the challenge really is, then yeah, you really need to commit to lifelong singleness, because that is what she is describing is the reality. That is so important and essential in a marriage. And listen, one of the things I appreciate about many of these young ladies is they are holding women accountable. And they are challenging women to the greatness that is in them and the greatness that is in us by adopting a spirit of service, of honoring our spouse, respecting your husband. Why would you choose a man that you are not willing to honor in this way?
Be open to learn. Don't be so focused on being something society says you need to be. Don't focus on this career and just, okay, yes, better yourself. Have something to bring to the table. Learn how to cook. Do those things. And build yourself in that way. But the mindset to say that I need to absolutely know who I am and not ever get married until I know. You will never know. You will never know, because you change with the seasons. When we change.
That's right.
We change, and that is
That's so important what she is saying here, because identity is not simply achieved once for all. Identity is going to be achieved in the sense of, okay, I know who I'm going to love, and I know how to be loved. I want to be loved this way. You've resolved the issues of how you associate pain and love, and that's for another conversation. But you've answered the question in regards to love. You've answered the question in regards to work, that you know your gifts, talents, and abilities. You know what your interests are, and even that can change. Our identity can't be wrapped up in our work. Unemployment happens, accidents happen, all kinds of things happen. And then in regards to your ideology, what the Word of God calls your doctrine. What is your doctrine for how you answer the questions about your origin, your identity in Christ, who God is, the nature of God, your destiny, where you're finally going to end up, the meaning of history, these worldview questions, which are questions you can have answered and have a dialogue about when you're in high school. But instead of fooling around, instead of doing foolishness and indulging, and this is the worst part, is that I love the social media for what they're meant to be, but they are incredible distractions to the essential questions of life so very often. Our identity is not achieved just once, and so you want to be able to be in a place where your ideology is your anchor. Where for us as Christians, if you're a Christian, Christ is your anchor. That's what's rooting you. You know that you're loved. You know that you're called. You know that you're a royal priesthood, and on, and that becomes your anchor, and you're fleshing out that anchor. And then when you go through the seasons of life, when you have children, when you get older, when all kinds of things happen, you and your spouse, because of that anchor, your identities are maturing. You are maturing, you're growing, but you're growing together, not apart. And you're not busy lusting and covetousness and wondering and looking around, and the grass always looks greener on the other side and all that other stuff, because you're anchored in something much greater than yourself. And your marriage puts you also into something much greater than yourself. Having children puts you into something much greater than yourself, and life is always better when it doesn't revolve around you. So family, should you wait until you know yourself before you get married? Again, I want to put the full video in the description. Go check out what the young lady continues to say. Jazmin, salute to her. You may disagree with some of the other things that she says and how she frames it. You may want to have a dialogue with her. Go on ahead, or you may want to come back to this channel and ask me some things. But I want to drop this into your soul right now, and that is, see, Jazmin identifies, and she has adopted a holistic Christian identity. And she's made that the bedrock of her life. And obviously her husband has done the same thing to inspire her to be able to do that. She's got her own YouTube channel. She is doing her thing. Her husband's doing her thing. So you got to get it. When you listen to the rest of her message, you have to understand that she is doing her own thing. Her husband there is there covering her. And being able to, and she's inspired and she's inspiring him. That's the way it's supposed to be. Well, listen, family, I'm going to wrap this up right here. What do you think? What does it mean to know yourself? How much knowing yourself do you need before you make a commitment to what God has designed you to be? A husband, a wife. How much knowing do you need to know, family? Love to hear your feedback. Let me know. Thank you for being here, 180 Truth. Please subscribe if you haven't. Share this message. Go on ahead and please hit the notification bell, and I'll be back with more at 180 Truth.